To the Sigmas of Australia, I say that this goofy-air government have been capping.
Okay, so the person you just saw is Fatima Payman, and she is a senator from Western Australia. And she's basically delivering a speech to the Senate in which she gives a scathing remark against their government. And she talks about things like taxation and a housing crisis, which obviously sounds very familiar to America and to many parts of the world, unfortunately. But in order to make this a very memorable speech, she decides to use what she calls Gen Z/Gen Alpha slang, which is just honestly hilarious. I saw the title of this video, I was bored, I was sitting here eating some food, and I wanted something to watch. And I saw this video called Senator Delivers Brainrot Speech in Parliament, and then skibbity in quotes. And I've seen a clip, I haven't seen the full thing, but I thought for fun what we would do is I'm gonna go through and listen to this. It's a 2-minute clip. And I'm going to try and decipher what she's saying. So I'll be curious to see if I can pick up on what she's saying. I don't know if I'll be sad or glad if I can understand it or not. But yeah, I wanted to kind of share this with you guys. And if you just maybe leave a like if you want, that'd be cool. Subscribe to the channel. I'm trying to put out some more content like this. But without further ado, let's get into the speech and let's try and figure out what she's talking about.
Today I rise to address an oft-forgotten segment of our society. I speak of Generation Z, who will be playing a substantial role in the next election, and Generation Alpha, who will start to come of age the election after. It is for this reason that I shall now render the remainder of my statement using language they're familiar with. To the Sigmas of Australia, I say that this goofy-air government have been capping.
Okay, so right away, goofy government is capping is so crazy. So I'm picking up where we're at right now. She's obviously talking to the Sigmas, which for some of you who aren't, I guess, super familiar with the Sigma movement, and I'm not going to try and be an expert in it, but basically it's like being an alpha, but a little cooler, a little more suave, someone like a Tommy Shelby from Peaky Blinders. A lot of people hail from American Psycho Patrick Bateman. So she's basically just kind of hyping people up and saying, look, the government has been lying to you. So I'm with her so far.
Not just now, but for a long time. A few of you may remember when they said there'll be no phantom tax under the government I lead. They're capaholics. They're also yappaholics. They yap non-stop about how their cost of living measures are changing lives for all Australians. Just put the fries in the bag, little bro.
Okay, so a couple things there. So calling people in government yappaholics is actually hilarious and super appropriate because obviously all around the world, people in any form of government, especially like here in America, they literally just talk. They don't do anything, they just say things. And so it's kind of sad so far. I am understanding and it's really funny. And also put the fries in the bag, little bro, is also hilarious. I've seen that primarily on TikTok and some other social media platforms. And yeah, so far I'm kind of in agreement, and we're talking about a government, like most governments, that doesn't really do much and is pretty terrible.
They tell us that they're locked in on improving the housing situation in this country. They must have brain rot from watching too much Kai Cenat and forgot about their plans to ban social media for kids under 14. If that becomes law, you can forgo skull emoji all about watching Duke Dennis or catching a dub with the bros on Fort.
Okay, so some of that I actually didn't understand, but I find it's just, I don't know, it's an interesting reference to Kai. It's kind of, he's just catching a stray here. The reference to Fortnite, I obviously play Fortnite, I stream Fortnite, I love it. Duke Dennis I'm not as familiar with, but it's just kind of funny that she chose these creators to I don't know, kind of go after. So yeah, a little lost there, but kind of funny.
Chat, is this Prime Minister serious? Even though he's the Prime Minister of Australia, sometimes it feels like he's the CEO of Ohio. I would be taking an L if I did not mention the Ops, who want to cut WA's GATS and services tax.
Okay, so the CEO of Ohio thing, I actually don't understand. For most of my life, people have trashed Ohio, but I don't understand the specific reference here. I'm guessing it's just saying that he's the CEO of something that's bad. But I think it's funny because I've had friends throughout my life from Ohio, and people just dunk on the state all the time. And my friends from Ohio are typically like, yeah, it's just terrible. So I actually don't fully get that one, but that is that's really funny.
The decision voters will be making in a few months' time will be between a mid-government, a dog-water opposition, or a crossbench that will mog both of them. Though some of you cannot yet vote, I hope when you do, it will be in a more goated Australia for a government with more aura. Skivity.
Okay, so I think that's basically everything she said. The ending there is really funny. You know, vote for a government with more aura. I would be really curious to see how many of you this whole thing made sense to. But again, the gist of what she's saying is that the government is terrible. They're not exactly helping you. They're just kind of yapping and not doing much, which again goes to most governments. And so actually, let's take a look at some of the comments, because I went to the comment section and there were some really, really funny comments. So let's see. I'll let you guys see this. I'll pull it up in full screen. So they said here, chat, is this prime minister serious? Which is hilarious. I forgot to comment on that. And the best worst part, she's actually making sense. People in the 1800s. Let me see if I can zoom in here for you guys. People in the 1800s. In 200 years, we're gonna have time travel. 200 years later, and this is what we have. So that's hilarious. Someone said something about Old English in here, which I thought was really funny. And oh yeah, one day this will be considered Old English. To the Sigmas of Australia, I say the goofy government has been capping. So yeah, very, very funny, very memorable speech. And I am curious if more people will employ, a strategy like this, where they, make it a little ridiculous and funny and use some language like this. But yeah, it seems like a lot of governments are capaholics and yapaholics. That's such a bar too. Like, I love that. But yeah, let me know in the comments below what you guys think. If you did understand the whole video, if you didn't, please again subscribe to the channel, leave a like. I'm trying to build a really cool community here on YouTube. But I will see you guys in the next video.